Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, you're most definitely welcome. If you are a returnee, thank you so much for tuning to my channel. So today we're going to learn how to draft a standard corset pattern using a Natalie Bray bodice block for this. All right, so if you know that you're interested in this kind of tutorial, please keep on watching, and if you want to see more of this kind of tutorials, please subscribe to my channel if you haven't. And subscription is free, no one is going to charge you for it, so you might as well just subscribe to this channel so you can get good content. All right, so with that being said, let's just dive into this tutorial. So the very first thing you need to do before you draft your corset pattern would be to make sure that you've drafted your bodice block. Okay, like I said, this is a Natalie Bray bodice block. If you don't know how to draft this, I already did a tutorial on how to draft this bodice block. The tutorial, the link to that video is going to be in the description box, so please go and watch it so you can learn how I came about this pattern. All right, so after you're done watching that tutorial, the next step would be for you to shape your bodice. When I say shaping, what I mean is eliminating all excesses. All right, so when you're drafting a corset, you need to make sure that you eliminate all excesses. As you can see, I have introduced another line. You can see the line here, meaning that I have completely eliminated all excesses. After you've done that, then we're going to start with drafting the corset proper. All right. One thing you need to pay attention to would be how much cleavage does your client or your customer, or how much cleavage do you want to reveal when you're making a corset. So we have different people and their choices. Some people would say they want something moderate, they don't want too much cleavage out, while some people want to go overboard, that they want to show everything. So whoever you're working with, you have to make sure that you are aware of that information, because it's going to help you to not ruin an outfit for your customer. All right, so for me, if I want to know how much cleavage I want to reveal on my dress or dress I'm making for a customer, I make use of these lines. These lines serve as a guide for me: the chest line, the armhole line, the bust line, and the under bust line. These four lines help me to, it guides me on how much cleavage I want to reveal. So if, for example, you want your customer, or you want to reveal not too much cleavage, you just want it to be moderate, like some people will say, I want it to just look, moderate, but still look sexy. So just know that anything from your chest line, anything between your chest line to your armhole line is pretty much okay, in my opinion. All right, anything from this line, the chest line, to your armhole line is pretty much okay. So it's going to reveal a decent amount of cleavage. All right. Now, for those of you who do not use a Natalie Bray pattern and you want to know how to get your chest line, all you have to do is from your armhole line, just go up 4 cm, and that will serve as your chest line. So like I said, anything from this line to this line, in my opinion, shows a decent amount of cleavage, and it still looks sexy, by the way. All right, so anything on your true bust line is going to show cleavage. Anything on your true bust line is going to show cleavage. Then anything from your true bust line down to your under bust line, then already you know that it's going to show a lot of cleavage as well. So anything from your true bust line down to your under bust line is going to show cleavage as well, a lot of cleavage. All right, so you need to know all of these things and put all of this into consideration when making an outfit. So for the sake of this tutorial, I'm just going to go for a decent amount of cleavage reveal. So I'm just going to work with this chest line and the armhole line. So my measurement is going to start somewhere here, just for the sake of this tutorial. So you can do you, all right, but you always know that less is more. So here, the first thing we're going to do is this. For me, I'm going to come down here for my chest line. This is optional, by the way. You can decide to do whatever you want. So I'm doing this for me. For my chest line here, I'm going to come down 2 cm. This 2 cm, I'm going to mark 1.5 cm. You can either mark 1.5 cm or you can go for 1 cm. All right, but for the sake of this tutorial, I'll do 1.5 cm. And then you take your ruler and connect this point like so. You also come to your under bust. This is the under bust line. All right, this is the under bust line. This is the waistline. So on your under bust line, you also mark the 1.5 cm. Then I'll make a straight line. All right. Now, based on the previous tutorial I did, I explained how I did these lines. So for those of you who know how to do this already, for those of you who have watched the tutorial, you understand how I got about this, how I went about this line. On my chest line, from the first dart leg, I will go up 1 cm. This is optional. You can decide to start yours from the chest line itself, but I want it to be a little bit higher above the chest line. So I'm going up 1 cm. What I'm trying to do now is to draft the sweetheart shape. So from here, I'm going to connect this one to this point using my French curve. Okay. All right, so I just wanted to get the sweetheart shape. So if you want to maintain the chest line, that's fine. But for me, I just wanted mine to be a little bit above the chest line by 1 cm. This point, which we just marked, down to this point is known as our point X. We're going to get the distance from here to here, which is 7. Okay, mind you guys, this place is the first dart leg. All right, this is our darts. So this is the first dart leg, and this is the second dart leg. So from here to here, I'm going to get the distance, which is 7. And that 7, I'll also slant it to this side, to the second dart leg, and get 7 as well. I don't know if that makes sense. So what you got from here, from the first dart leg to this point, you slant it again to this point and get 7 on the second dart leg, and you mark it like so. That's 7. Now you go with your French curve and connect this point down to your armhole like this. So we're just going to sweep it into your armhole, connecting the second dart leg to this point. We're going to sweep it down to your armhole like this. So there are many ways of doing this. Either you connect this point to your armhole, directly to your armhole like this, or you come down from your armhole here 1 cm and connect this point to that plate, to that 1 cm. Or you can either come down from your armhole here 2 cm and connect this point to that 2 cm. Whichever way depends on you. So for me, for the sake of this tutorial, I don't want to connect it to the armhole because, you know, I don't want the armhole to be too close to the armpits. So I decided to come down 1 cm. So this is what I did. From my armhole line, I'm going to come down 1 cm. All right. So instead of connecting this point to your armhole directly, all you have to do now will just be connect that point to that 1 cm which we just marked. All right, I hope that makes sense. So I'm going to connect this straight to that point. Okay, so this is how it's going to be. If you want to come down 2 cm, you can go ahead and connect from that point to that 2 cm. Or if you still want to maintain your armhole line, all you have to do is just connect it to that point like so. What we're going to do right now would be from your under bust line. Okay, this under bust line here. This is our under bust line. You come up 1 cm from this line. You're going to come up 1 cm. And for the second dart line, you also come up 1 cm. All right. The essence of doing this is to, it's for 2 reasons, many reasons, but I just know about 2 reasons. The first would be to just give you a little bit of push-up. That's one. And the second would be when you insert your bra bone, that's your bra iron, after making your corset, and you want to insert a bra iron, it's best for the bra iron to stop on your exact under bust. You know, by the time you put the bra iron, it's going to stop here. All right, so that instead of it coming down, so instead of taking your under bust lower, it's better you lift it higher. All right, it gives it a different kind of, you know, beauty. So that's why you have to come up here 1 cm. On this line which you just did, this 1.5, this is 1.5. on this 1.5, which we just did, 1.5 cm, what we are going to do now would be, you take your French curve, this part that has this straight line here, you place that straight line, touching the straight line as well, and look for angle 45 degree. This is 45, so that's 45. Take your ruler and connect it to that point. And then on that line, you're going to get 3.75. This is standard, guys. Like so. All right. It would be to connect this point here to this point and to this point here. So watch me connect it. So I'm just going to place my French curve like this. From this shaped part of your bodice, on your underbust, you go in 3 cm on the underbust. This is 3 cm. All right. And also the armhole, the armhole, towards the armhole line, you're going to mark 3 cm as well. So this is 3 cm. And you connect it with a ruler. All right. These measurements are standard, by the way. When I say something is standard, I mean it's just the measurement, and it's applicable to all sizes. All right. So now from this part, this 3 cm, we came in from here to here 3 cm. Let me state it. Now from this 3 cm, this line, we're going to go in again 1 cm, just like we did for the underbust. We came up 1 cm for the underbust. All right. You do the same thing, just for the same purpose. So from this point, we'll come in again 1 cm. I'm going to mark 1 cm like so, and also do the same thing here from that line. Mark 1 cm as well, and then you take your ruler and connect these points together. Okay, now on this line, which we just came in now, this line now, you will take your French curve, just like what we did here, this angle 45 degree we did here, that place where we have the line, the center line here, you place that center line on this line as well and get angle 45 degree. Now you look around your tape, around the curve. This is where 45 is. Where 45 is, you just make a point there, like so. Then take your ruler and connect it to that point. After making the connection, what we're going to do, just like after making this connection, we did 3.75 here. For here, we're going to do 3 cm. So from here, you're going to mark 3 cm like this. You mark 3 cm this way. So this is 3 cm. What we're going to do now would be, we're going to connect this line, this 1 cm here, this line. We're going to connect from here. We're going to connect from here, touching this 3 cm here, and then to this place. So guys, as you can see that the corset has been, formed. So this is one side of the corset. Sorry, this is one side of the cup, and this is the second side of the cup as well. I hope you guys are following me up to this point. Doing this, what you have to do next would be, around this chest line, we need to do what we call tightening. So tightening is very important, most especially when you're doing an off-shoulder corset or a bustier. You have to tighten the chest region, because if you do not tighten this chest region, there's every tendency that it's going to gape, or it's just going to be loose on your chest line, and that is not going to be cute at all. You won't like it. So you need, whatever you're doing, either a bustier or a corset, to sit firm on your chest region. And as such, what we have to do would be to tighten it. How do you tighten it? Now, this is your first dart leg, and this is your second dart leg right here, right? Okay, to tighten it, from this your first dart leg here, you will mark 1 cm. You can either do 1 cm or you do ½ inches. So for me, I'm going to do 1 cm. So you mark from this line. Ignore this line, guys. For those of you who have watched my tutorial on how to draft a Natalie bray bodice, you understand that this line is useless. It's just a guide. So we don't need this line. All right, we do not need this line at all. The line I'm talking about is this line and this line. All right. So from this line, from the first dart leg, you go inward 1 cm, 1 cm like so, and then take your French curve and connect that 1 cm to your point X. This is your point X. We're going to connect that point. I know you can't see it, but maybe I should go and get another marker. Change the marker so that you can see clearly. Like I said from your first dart leg here, you mark 1 cm. And this is 1 cm right here. All right. Now you take your French curve and just connect that 1 cm back to your point X. Like, get what I'm trying to say? So this is the line here. That's the first dart leg. We've shaped down to this point. Now the same thing here. So for the tightening, what I did here was 1 cm. All right. What I did here was 1 cm. For this part, I'm going to do 1.5 cm. For this part, we're going to mark 1.5 cm. All right. And do the tightening. You take your French curve and connect that 1.5 cm down to this part. So we're going to connect 1.5 cm down to this point. So the essence of this is just tightening, okay? So that by the time you sew this together, it's going to be firm on your chest and it will not be loose. So pardon me guys for this part. I wanted to use a red marker for this, but after using it, it's not still showing red. So what I mean is the tightening is going to be 1.5 here and 1 cm here. All right. So here, this part is going to be tightened. So this point will be completely eliminated. All right. Done this. The next thing we need to do is to confirm that this line and this line should meet each other. Meaning, you know, by the time you want to sew this outfit together, you expect that this line here and this line should at least meet each other. And sometimes that might not be the case. So in order to avoid that when you're sewing, what you have to do is just hold your pattern like this, holding that 1 cm. That 1 cm which we did for tightening. Holding that 1 cm. You drag it over to this 1.5 cm. The lines are on the same place, meaning we are good. Because sometimes it's usually not on the same line, but just in case you do this and you notice that the lines are not, let's say this line is higher, all you have to do is just take your French curve and just, you know, connect it nicely and just connect it. All right. At this point now, we have successfully drafted our cup. Right. At this point, we've successfully drafted the cup. So this cup is known as a 2-piece corset. It's just going to be one line here. The dart line is just going to be one here. So this is one piece. This is another piece. All you have to do is just sew them together. But just in case you do not want this type, let's say you want a 3-piece corset, all you have to do is very simple. From this line here, you're going to come down 2 inches from that line. So we're going to mark 2 inches here. All right. And from this point, we also mark 2 inches. And then you take your ruler, connect these 2 inches to your point X, like so, and connect this one to this point. You can do a freehand for this. You can decide to make a curve, whichever one you want. So this is referred to. So at this point now, what we're going to do will be, we're going to use our tape. We're going to use our tape and hold down this upper part. So when we hold down this upper part with our tape, it's going to be a 1-piece. It's going to be 1 piece, which we're going to cut on our fabric. But for this one, we're going to cut it one here, one here. So do you understand? Like, it's going to be 1. These 2 represent 1, while this will be cut separately. This will be cut together because we're going to use a tape to hold them down together and cut it on our fabric. Whereas for this one, we're going to cut 1 here, 1 here, and that's what's going to give us our 3-piece corset. Ends our center front. So if, for example, you're making a corset with yoke, that's, you see all those illusion skin nets that they wear with corset. If, for example, you want to make such, then this part will represent your yoke. All right, this part represents your yoke. Hopefully I might do a tutorial on how to do that, but this part is going to represent your yoke. But if you're not going to do that, if you're not going to insert a yoke, you just want it to just be a plain off-shoulder corset, then you're fine, you're good to go with this. All right, the only thing you have to do is, if you're going to do an off-shoulder dress, all you have to do is to tighten this place as well. Mark ½ inches from your side seam here like this and connect it back to your true bust line. All right, what we're going to do would be to construct the back. Now remember that we came down from our armhole here, we came down 1 cm from this point. We came here 1 cm. Whatever you do for your front, you should always do the same for your back. If you do not repeat it, then you're going to have issues when you're joining. So now we came down from our armhole 1 cm for the front. You have to repeat the same thing for the back. So for the back, we'll come down 1 cm as well. If you did 2 cm, you came down 2 cm, you do the same thing for the back. So 1 cm, that means this is where our dress is going to start from. That's 1 cm. All right, coming down 1 cm, it's either you go use your straight line and make a straight line like this for the back, which I don't really recommend, but this can go. So it's either you do this, a straight line at the back, or you go down, like you slant it using your French curve, the less curvy parts, and just get a curve like this. So these two are very okay. For me, I'm going to take my French curve and just connect from that 1 cm, which I came down by, using the less curvy parts. I'm using the less curvy parts. So I'm just going to connect it to this point. You can decide from your armhole line. You can decide to come down from your armhole line 4 cm. It's optional. This is where I want my curve to be. So from this point, I'm just going to connect. So this represents, I know there are so many lines here, I just hope you don't get confused, but this line represents our back line here. So this is going to be our back line. Ignore this line, guys. Ignore this line. This is a line. This is going to be our back line. Okay, this is going to be our back line. All right, so as you can see, the center front and the center back, 1 cm will join together, and the back is going to be slanted downwards. All right, so this is what I just did. Now, if you're going to attach a rope to the back of your corset, what you have to do is, from this your 2 cm, this your zip line, you come in 1 inches on the zip line. You can either go 1 inches, or you do 1.5 inches or 2 inches, you know, so anyone you want. So I'm going for 1 inches. You're going to mark 1 inches on the waistline. Mark 1 inches, because we're trying to get a straight line now. 1 inches. So this is the line, the slanted line, which is our new back line, 1 inches. And then you take your ruler and connect these points together. So this part now is not going to exist. So this is where your back is starting from. All right, this is because you're going to insert a rope. But if you're not going to use rope, you're not going to insert loop or anything like that, all you have to do is just maintain this line. If you're going to insert a zip for your corset, maintain this line. But if you know you're going to use a rope, then you can go ahead and do this. So you can either do 1 inches, or you do 1.5 inches, or you do 2 inches, whichever one you want. All right, so now if you notice that after we did this, our darts seem to be closer to that point, and we don't want that. So we need to move our darts. When I say move, we need to shift the darts. How do you shift the dart? How do you move your darts so that it's not too close to this point? From this, your new line now, your new center back line here, to this waist, your waist measurement, that's your side seam. What we have is 15 cm. 15 cm divided by 3, that's 5. So what we're going to do will be to mark 5. This our new line here. From this new line which we just have, we're going to mark 5. So this is 5. From there, we're also going to mark 5 again. So this is 5. To the top part of this line, this slanted line which we just did. Okay, just to make a straight line on the darts, you get the measurement from the side seam to this point. That's 18. 18 divided by 3, that's 6. So I'm going to mark 6 right here, my straight line all across to that point. And then this one, what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to achieve a straight line. So we're going to connect this point to this point as well. All right, now how do we move the darts? What we're going to do, if we remember when I constructed this pattern, this is 1 cm and this is also 1 cm. So what we're going to do is we're going to share this 1 cm. So this whole 1 cm here, this 1 cm, we're going to move it here into 0.5, 0.5. So what we're going to do, don't worry, just follow me guys. I will explain it again. So this is 0.5, 0.5. So you can see that this is 0.5, 0.5, which represents 1 cm. This is 1 cm here, but because we are moving the darts, we decided to create a dart column for just this one and another dart column for just this one. So this 1 cm has been shared between these two. Now for this one, we're also going to repeat the same thing. Here will be 0.5. And here will be 0.5. So this 0.5, 0.5 represents this one cm here, right? So now we're going to connect. So this is how you draft your standard corsets. If you have any questions, please leave it in the comment section. You can go ahead now to attach your waist to either your skirt, or you can use this as a top. So if you're going to use this as a top, hopefully I might do a tutorial on how to do a top with this, and I'll show you using the same pattern. All right, so yeah, this is how I go ahead to draft my corset. As you can see, for the back dart line, I have to increase it to that point. Okay, so that's how you successfully move your darts. Now we no longer need these darts. We no longer need this. We no longer need this anymore. This is going because now we have successfully transferred it. So we've come to the end of this tutorial. If you liked it, be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions, please leave it in the comment section. I'll be sure to be of assistance to you. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do hit the subscribe button. Subscription is free, and subscribe so that you'll be able to get notifications when I upload other content, because I will try to upload as much content as possible that I believe you'll be interested in. So thank you so much until I see you in my next tutorial.